Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast, episode 298 here at the TTP. My name is Brian. I'm your host here for your Hollywood news, TV, movie reviews, and by Take Two. 298 straight weeks. This show has been brought to you every single week, uninterrupted. And here we go, baby. We're in the home stretch. We only have 3 episodes remaining till episode 300, and then the show is all done. We're done. We're finishing up. So any brand new listeners, and I was looking at the download numbers. We do have a couple of new folks out there. Welcome aboard. Feel free to go back, scroll through the catalog, and listen to your heart's desire. But we only have 3 eps left, including this one, 298, 299, and then 300. We will be wrapping up the show. Almost 6 years. Well over 680 plus shows of production that this franchise universe put into the podcast world, into the YouTube world, into the Instagram and Facebook stories world, into everything that you can think of for Take Two Podcast. This little engine that has been around almost 6 full seasons, years, not even seasons. And we're wrapping things up. So episode 298, a weird ramble right there, because as I was putting these notes together and getting things ready to produce here, I don't know, it's starting to hit me that we're wrapping. I think a big factor there is that the realm of Take Two. Now, this show, any loyal listeners we've had for any amount of time know that there have been many spin-offs on the show, and we'll be going over those over the next couple of weeks. But the realm endured the test of time and stayed on its own. And honestly, if we're being honest right now, and I look at the numbers often, the realm could do its own show. Roy could easily do his own show, and I would not be surprised if that happens. And if it does, they will get the full support and producing power that is through Take Two Podcast. It's done. 51 episodes, and he's wrapping up as well. You know, Roy and I spoke a couple months ago, maybe, about when we should wrap up this show, and he just quickly agreed, like, we're good to go. But I don't know, man. Listening to his voice, listening to this episode 51, the finale episode of the realm of Take Two, it felt like you could keep going and should keep going. But either way, it wrapped up. It's in your feeds right now. Final episode of the realm of Take Two. Has some really good reviews in there, some good nostalgia stuff where he goes over a lot of his recommendations from every single ep that he has given you in the past 50 episodes. It's hard to quantify the timeline for the realm because he's been doing monthly for maybe 2 years now, but before then it was like bi-monthly and bi-weekly, and there's just a litany of shows. So it wasn't 51 straight months, if you will. That would be a long time. But either way, that many episodes of The Realm. Congratulations to Roy. The final ep is there now. It's already in your feeds. I know a lot of you have already listened to it. I myself listened to the whole thing and almost hit play again because there's a couple of parts in there that might jerk a tear, might jerk a something out of you. And anyway, so Realm is out there right now. For this episode, for episode 298 to Take Two Podcast, man, that was a hell of a ramble to lead things off, wasn't it? Usually the rambles don't come until a little bit later, and we get ranting. We do have a story time later today. Lightyear is our movie review. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the TV review, along with Barry Season 3. Those are the 3 big reviews for the week. I will, spoiler alert, and tell you that I am positive on all 3 of them. Some of them more positive than others, but for overall, all 3 of those projects I did enjoy very much so. There will be a box office. We have some big numbers to talk about in the box office this week. Casting, tons. I first started putting together the casting, and I was like, oh, we don't really, actually, there's a good amount of casting. More than I thought as we got going. A little bit of news, a little bit of DC, a little bit of Marvel, and then some going forwards as we're going to be wrapping things up here at Take Two Podcast. 3. That's it, guys. 3 episodes. That's it. I mean, there was a time when this show produced 3 episodes a week. Easily. I mean, we would easily give you 3. I think maybe 2-4 times in our history where we did an episode a day. Like, there was a weeks where things just happenstance, where you did your regular weekly show that came out on Tuesday, then the wrestling show came out on Thursday, and then the CW show came out on Saturday, and then we would have a spinoff show that came out on Sunday. There's 4 days right there out of the week where, and that was on the regular. I mean, that was on the regular where things like that would happen because the Realm spinoff and then Spotlight spinoff and all sorts, and we had to schedule certain things. And so there are many weeks where we would give you 4 episodes in a week, and now you only have 3 remaining ever coming up. And then I know there's a couple of weeks in there where we hit 7, where like we just had an episode to give every day because we have multiple spinoffs and a specialty show, and then award season shows, reviews, all that kind of fun stuff. I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna have to forgive me these next couple of weeks because ramblings are going to happen. Absolute ramblings. I've been writing down, jotting some notes of what we're gonna do here as we wrap things up. Talking about segments that we've had and guests that we've had and hosts that we've had. We've had so many great hosts. We've had so many great guests on the show, and just the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs of this podcast. And at the end of the day, it's always, don't be sad that it's over. Enjoy that it happened type thing. I messed that quote up, but that's where I'm at right now with Take Two Podcast. But all right, let's wrap the show. Let's get this episode 298 going. You will have all the great things that I mentioned earlier, but let's start things off like we normally do with our box office results. $1 billion. $1 billion. Congratulations to Top Gun Maverick for crossing the $1 billion threshold. Only in 5 weeks does it cross the $1 billion threshold. Good on him, man. Good on him. That's a phrase that old co-host John used to say. Good on him for getting that $1 billion. And they're not slowing down. They ain't slowing down. I mean, I know we have a couple of movies coming up and going forward, but not enough to slow this engine down. I definitely expect them to get about another $100 million domestically before it's all said and done, which means it's going to get. It just got released in Korea. It just got released in some other. This movie is out to make some cash, and good for him, man. I've seen it twice. Story time later on. We'll be discussing my second theater going to go see this movie, because it's just a good darn movie. It holds up on the rewatch for me, and I hope everyone goes to see it. A coworker, just speaking with a coworker, he literally has not been in the theaters for about 15 years ish, right? But so I can't say literally and then say ish and about. Those words don't make sense. But either way, but this movie brought him out, man. It brought him back, and he enjoyed it. He said he liked it, and I'm glad. I was glad, because it's like, oh man, guy hasn't been to the theater in forever, and this is the movie he chooses. Like, high bar is set, but he came out with a positive result. So, either way, Top Gun Maverick gets $30,500,176. Why did I get that specific? Because as of this recording, that's how much money it made this past weekend domestically. Elvis, brand new movie from Warner Brothers, just dropped this weekend, getting some pretty solid reviews. That made $30,500,000 even. So $176, which is 2 popcorns, some M&Ms, Juju Fruits, and a soda, is what defeated Top Gun over Elvis from winning the weekend. Now, my predictions last week, I thought that for sure this would make $40-ish million, like mid-40s, and then everything would be like right behind it. Way off. I was off. $30 million is what it brings in. Now, $30.5 million is nothing to sneeze at. That's not bad, especially for a biopic and a unknown, if you will, Austin Butler actor playing the lead in there. So either way, good for Elvis. Makes $30 million. We will see what kind of legs it has going forward. There's not a ton of new release competition next week, so we'll see what kind of word-of-mouth type stuff it has to go up against. Now, Jurassic World Dominion drops into third place, $26.4 million. It does put it over the $300 million mark domestically. Good for them. Still 4,200 theaters. Crazy. The Black Phone, the other new release, $23 million. I was looking at, was it producers, directors, folks involved in the making of this film, and they were over the moon for the amount of money that Black Phone made. $23 million for a horror movie in June. That's solid cash. They made some good money, and the money that they were expecting to make, that it beat it. And even though that's fourth place, I mean, I think that'll have legs. I think this movie's going to have legs. It's gotten some solid reviews. So if you make another, $18 million next weekend, $14 million the following weekend, you're looking at some good money for that movie. So good for them. And I know that they were very happy with that success. Fifth place is Lightyear, the most theaters of any movie right now. 4,255 theaters as in $17.6 million in its second week. A drastic drop off, 65+% drop off from the first week. That's pretty standard. I don't think word of mouth is helping this movie. I've seen some people who love, and I'll give you my review in a minute, who love this movie. But then there's some other folks that don't like it. Then there's the whole, Disney is woke and blah, 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 and all that baloney. Anywho, That's what's killing some dollars there. But either way, 17.6. Sixth place, Doctor Strange, $1.7 million. What a drop off, right? From fifth to sixth place. $17+ million down to 1.7, barely making it. And interestingly enough, Doctor Strange makes that just shy of $2 million when you can now watch it on Disney Plus, which my kids kind of did. They threw it on and got bored and walked away, and it was kind of like an on in the background thing, and that's not the movie that should be on in the background for your first watch. Either way, interesting that it makes over $1 million, just under $2 million, and you can now watch it on Disney Plus. So anybody that hadn't seen it yet, you can just watch it on Disney Plus. I was trying to think, like, should you see that one in the theater? I mean, you should, always, but it's not one of those big spectacles like Top Gun. It's like, oh my God, go see that. Go see Lightyear. Go see Jurassic World. Go see those in theaters type thing. So, anywho. All right, Jug Geo, $725,000 in its first week of release. Everything Everywhere, all at once. You would think I would get that. 14 weeks I've been saying that darn thing. You would think. And again, 14 weeks this thing's been sitting in the top 10. $500,000 for them. Bob's Burger movie just under them with a $500,000 as well. The Bad Guys rounds out your top 10 with $439,000. I feel bad for the Bad Guys. We've been mentioning this for a couple of weeks. It's just chilling at $95 million. Just got over that. It's not going to get to the 100, but how sweet for Universal had they got it. You know they would have been pumped if they had gotten $100 million out of the Bad Guys domestically. Either way, Top Gun Maverick wins. We will talk about going forward. Will it win next week? I think so. We would talk about this in going forward a little bit later. Predictions to come during the going forward section. But I think box office, I think Top Gun might hang on. Okay, sorry, stumbled a little bit there. Good news, everybody. Good news as we move forward, and we're going to get into the reviews in just a moment here. But good news is that we're back on YouTube. We had some computer issues, as you noticed last week with the hiccups with the audio. I mean, it felt like year one last week. Can't get anything produced visually. Can't get anything produced audio-wise. Had to clean a ton of stuff up. I mean, it was like back when we used to have like 4 or 5 hosts on at one time, and I had to match up all the threads and try and get everything, and you're editing out all the ums and the ands and the oohs and the ahs and all that kind of fun stuff. That's what last week's 297 felt like. But it was kind of like a goodbye. Like we're going to give you one more kick in the pants for audio quality here. And see if your listeners just even give a hoot. I even noticed on the Realm for the Royd, like, for one quick second there, like his audio dipped down for like half a second. I was like, I got him too. Old school podcasting stuff, but good times, man. It's all fun. And other podcasters out there, I think a lot of other podcasters can relate. When you listen to a pod and you hear like an audio, you're like, oh, I know what happened there. I know what kind of audio went bad there. So for you non-podcasters who are listening and you're still enduring, you're like, that audio just, you blew out my eardrums and thanks. Now I need new car speakers thanks to that audio glitch. Thanks for sticking with us for all these years, and I'll send you the address for you to send your bills for any audio speakers that we may have destroyed over the years. Okay, we did the box office. No poll this week, but coming back next week, we will have some poll results for the final couple of episodes, of course, because like I said, I want to knock out all segments going forward for Take Two Podcast. Just one last time. We'll do trailer talk. We'll do What's in the Glass. All sorts of fun stuff we have lined up. Okay. Let's do the review, shall we? Let's lead things off with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I couldn't decide. I honestly couldn't decide which one to do first, which one to do last, what have you. This was announced quite a while ago that they got Ian McGregor back. He's going to be Obi-Wan. He's getting his own series. 6 episodes on Disney Plus. Star Wars fans everywhere very excited. A little kid glovey, like, should we be excited? Do we want to do this? Don't ruin my childhood type thing. But then again, yeah, this is a story that we want to hear. This takes place about 10 years after Return of the Jedi. Nope, lied. This takes place after Revenge of the Sith. And the kids have been born. Luke and Leia got split up. Obi-Wan is now watching over Luke on Tatooine and, keeping his eye on him while Vader and the Empire are growing and becoming stronger. We learn that Vader is going after Obi-Wan still, like as they're establishing their dominance over the entire galaxy. At the same time, Vader still has his sights on trying to find Obi-Wan Kenobi. I will be talking spoilery throughout this. I think I already just kind of gave you one that Vader's in this. So if you have not watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, please fast forward. Lightyear will be up next for the next review, and go watch Obi-Wan. I will tell you right now, very high on this series. Very high. And I am a Star Wars diehard. I love to pick apart what they give us. And this one, I am very, very high on. So fast forward now if you don't want to hear spoilers. All right, going forward. If you guys are listening to spoilers, then you've already watched. I don't have to give you too much of the premise. Leading off, when we get that first glimpse of Vader, I was like, holy crap, yes. And my one hope for this series was to get a lot of Vader. I was thinking, don't give me like glimpses. Don't give me like the final Rogue One scene where he comes and just kicks a bunch of ass. And you're like, yes, that was like the greatest scene I've ever watched in Star Wars. But it was 18 seconds long, right? Just like my sex life. It was great, but then give me more, right? Give me, I messed myself up. Bad joke. I wanted this entire series to be about Vader too. It was like, this is the perfect opportunity to show Vader and Obi-Wan at the same time. And that's exactly what it gave us. That's exactly what it did. It even gave us so much of it that you could then do like more Vader, like following Vader, establishing his I don't want it. Like, you don't need to water down what I already know. The guy's the baddest dude on the galaxy. I was about to say planet. But going, it gave you so much that you could even keep on going with it. But they don't need to. Either way, this series, what we're talking about, gives us Vader, then gives us James Earl Jones doing the voice. I didn't know what route we were going to go here. I didn't know if they were bringing him back. I didn't know if he was going to do voiceover. I didn't know how much Vader would talk. And plenty. He talked plenty. And it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I'm so glad that they were able to get him back to do the voice. Christensen, they got back to play Vader, actually like in the suit for the majority of the entire series. Phenomenal. So, the premise going along, of course, is that he links up with Leia and he's protecting Leia. He has to actually leave Luke to then go and protect Leia. I loved it. And just the initial episode 1 where you see that he meets Leia and his mission is going to be with Leia automatically gave more credence to A New Hope when Leia sends the message to Obi-Wan Kenobi and says, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. How does she know this dude, right? That was one thing in the Star Wars verse that I've always, and I think a lot of us were kind of getting like, why? How does she pick Obi-Wan? How does she know Obi-Wan? And I know if you read the books and things did get answered in other avenues, but this gave more credence to that. Why? Why does she go for this specific guy? How does she know this specific guy? And etc. And now we know why. That not only did they know each other, but they like knew each other and they became tight. And then they had this secret going forward. I love that. I love the depth that it added to the Leia character. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought the little girl that played her was a blast, Vivian Blair. I thought she did a really good job as a kid actress. Fantastic. And now that she's already in the Disney universe, we can totally see her on some, Good Luck Charlie spinoff or something where she can play a Disney role to that degree. Either way, I thought the number one thing that this did was establish the connection between Obi-Wan and Leia, and I thought that was brilliant. I really, truly did. Thought that was great. Next, giving you other bad guy, Moses Ingram, playing the main villain, playing Inquisitor Reva. I thought she was great, man. I really did. I thought Moses did a great job. She was a badass. She gave you that depth. She gave you a character arc in there, like why? She gave you the why. And there's so much sometimes in Star Wars where you're never given the why. And sometimes we don't need the why. Han Solo didn't need to know certain things, Solo, why he met Chewbacca and stuff like that, right? This was great. Giving you her entire backstory, an entire rooted, deep revenge story this entire time. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Then I'm dancing around because I don't want to just wax poetic for an hour here on the Obi-Wan Vader stuff. But the Obi-Wan Vader stuff was absolutely brilliant. I mean, multiple fight scenes, okay? And it's hard at this point for them, now that you've had movies where the prequels had some great CGI and you got some phenomenal lightsaber scenes. I mean, the Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon lightsaber duel of the Fates is still, for me, the number one fight scene of all time. But now all the sequel series, all of the lightsaber scenes are phenomenal. And it was hard for them to up the level of lightsabering that you could do, right? Like, how do you, once you've gotten so badass with the lightsabers, how can you get even better? And the sequels did. They gave you some scenes that was just like, holy crap. So here it's like, what are you going to give me that's even better? And it was great. It was solid. I don't think there's anything grandiose, but what it gave us is, I don't know if anybody's ever seen that fan made film that spliced together original New Hope and then some like Vader Obi-Wan fight scenes, and kind of like, it was like, if it was made today, this would have been the New Hope's that fight scene, and it was just badass lightsabering. it finally gave you that. It finally gave us that. And I wonder how much of that they might have watched and they're like, okay, we have to kind of next level this because some fan fiction video has been dominating YouTube and in Star Wars land. It's been fantastic. I'll see if I can include a link to it at some point. We got that. And there were sections of this series where it just allowed you to sit back and fanboy out. And we didn't have to go into a deeper storyline like with Boba. We didn't have to learn about all these other things like with Boba. Like, it gave us that with the Inquisitors. It gave us that with the Leia Obi-Wan connection. The only thing new, and I know we got some Inquisitors with Rebels, is that. The rest of it, we're just getting context for what happened in this time period that we didn't know about. And it gave us some depth into that context, and I thought that was all brilliant. It was very simple. Vader and Obi-Wan met up. Vader and Obi-Wan fought multiple times. Hang on. I'm getting choked up, folks. I'm getting super choked up here. First fight, awesome. Rakes him over the coals, burns his body. Brilliant. Absolutely loved every bit of it. He escapes. Bang. Second fight, now they're going after each other. Obi-Wan tricks him. He uses the Force, grabs that ship, pulls it down, destroys the whole thing, simply using the Force, then Force fights the Inquisitor Reva, like literally stops her fighting just by using the Force. I thought that was brilliant. That was absolutely great. The one thing that this show really did was took Vader to that next level. Because we've now seen villains. One thing about the original Star Wars movies, yeah, he choked out a couple of dudes, but we never got to see Vader just be this evil dude. Like, he was menacing. He's in that suit. He looks evil. That's great, right? Kids had nightmares about it the first time they saw it back in, the 80s, whatever. But there was never, like, that dominant, like, holy crap, he just straight kills dudes. He is that evil, right? This show gave us that. This show gave us the level of evil that Vader always has been and the level of force that he's always been. The one thing with the sequels, when they give us Kylo Ren and Rey able to stop ships in the air and like fight each other by pulling a ship by using the force, it's like, holy cow, I never saw Vader be that strong. Like, does this mean Vader wasn't that strong? I know those questions were there. And this said, no, folks, let's remember who the baddest of the bad always was. It was Darth effing Vader. And this show gave us that again. So, as much as I love this for the Obi-Wan series, I think what they did for Vader, making him even more badass, even more evil, like walking down the streets of this random town just killing dudes left and right. That person's head's poking out their window, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. I loved every bit of that. Let's remind people of who the greatest villain of all time was. Darth Vader. And that's what this series really did. Now, finishing with that finishing fight. Fantastic. Using the Force, throwing boulders at each other, slicing through boulders, lightsabering against each other. I thought all of that was brilliant. I thought the use of the red and the blue lightsabers was fantastic. And then we get to the part when Obi-Wan hits him in the chest and starts to destroy the suit. Okay? And Vader starts to breathe bad. Right? He does that labored breathing that you get at the end of Return of the Jedi. When Luke is there, before he takes his helmet on, you have that breathing that he can't breathe. Can I tell you, folks, I almost literally cried. I almost literally teared up. It was the exact same breathing from that movie. The exact same sound. And I was just like, oh my God. They went there. They went there with the bad breathing. The bad breathing. That's what got me fired up. Oh my goodness. Can I tell you how much I absolutely adored that? I almost had to pause it. Because it's just like, yes, but you're so sucked into that moment, right? So the breathing comes through, and then they're fighting, bang, and then he slices the helmet. You can only see half of his face. Thought it was absolutely brilliant. I've read 1,000 things how early on, like in Ahsoka got to see one half of his face. Now Obi sees the other half, and in the end, the only person who was allowed to see his entire face at that stage was Luke, his son, later on after Return of the Jedi. I thought all of the parallels with everything were just absolutely brilliant. I thought it was really, really well done. I will give you my only negative of the fight was Obi-Wan beats him. Great. I just wished like maybe he had chopped his leg off. His prosthetic leg, obviously. Like at some point in the fight, beat him, and defeated him. And then maybe just like, here, chops your leg off. Because now literally Vader can't follow him. But maybe it gave more credence to the fact of Vader accepting his defeat. Vader just telling Obi-Wan, okay, you beat me, but you got to know something, dude. There is no Anakin. I killed him. Oh my God, when he dropped that line, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm sorry. So, guys, I fanboyed out hardcore on this series. I absolutely adored it. I thought it was absolutely great. Started off a little slow, had to build a little bit, had to get us into that going. But once we got to episodes 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 5 and 6 were just absolutely brilliant. I loved that finale. It was just Star Wars at an nth level. Just absolutely enjoyed it. I will say, it did say season finale, not series finale. Originally, this was booked as a limited series, and that said season finale. Can we get more? Do we want more? I don't know. You know, it would now be a little tough to swallow that all these years Obi-Wan was just chilling, watching over Luke, yet he kind of bounced and went on missions. He kind of bounced, took his eye off the ball a little bit because he had to go save this person, save that person. And then the more he goes on missions, the more likely it is for people to find him, i.e. in this, where someone did find out where he was, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not sure if I do want more, because this was great. It ended so perfectly for me. It is like everything I ever wanted. Like, it now gave episodes that I can just throw on and just like, let me watch that Obi-Wan Vader again, because it was just brilliant. Truly brilliant. Okay, high marks for me. After the letdown that was Boba Fett, this brought it right back. Disney Plus, you own Star Wars, and I'm totally fine if Disney Plus just keeps going forward with these Star Wars events. Keep it up, baby. I'm back. We're back in Star Wars, baby. All right. That's wrapping up Star Wars and wrapping up Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's keep it in outer space, shall we? And go on to a Space Ranger in Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear's back, baby. Chris Evans is voicing over Buzz here. Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, they're all on board for this fun little movie. Curious how they were going to do this. What was this movie about? Lots of people. What? Huh? It's not Tim Allen? Is it Tim Allen because he's super hardcore conservative and Disney's not, so therefore they just fired him, and Chris Evans is a hardcore liberal? Is that why they did that? I mean, it's hard to argue against that, right? It's very hard to argue against that, where Disney is notoriously supporting the left side of things. Chris Evans, hardcore left when it comes to big-time activist, right? And then Tim Allen, hardcore right, big-time conservative, very big Trump guy, whatever, gets fired from networks, ABC, because of his views politically. And then now you replace him with a hardcore left guy in Chris Evans. Like, it's hard to not be like, well, that's why they did that. It's hard to not say that. So you can't argue against it. But what I will argue is the way they did this and the way they opened this up and saying that in 1995, when Andy got that Buzz Lightyear action figure, that it was because it was from his favorite movie that he just went out and saw. And that was a movie called Lightyear. And it was a movie that was just made, just a sci-fi film, kind of like Star Wars. And the kid fell in love with this movie, kind of like Star Wars, and then went and got a bunch of action figures, just like Star Wars, right? I just went nuts over all of my Star Wars fandom. That's exactly what this was. So I thought that was really well done. I thought that was very smart. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I totally get it. That's cool. I'm buying in. It's a tough sell, but once you're sold on it, you're good to go. So that's where we're at. This is the movie that he went and saw in 1995. Can I tell you, the amount of CGI in 1995, wow, really well done. Good on you. And where has this been for the last 30 years? Can I ask you that question? Because Andy saw himself a hell of a movie. And why were some of our movies a little less, comparatively speaking? All right, joke done. I enjoyed this. Went and saw it with both kids, both the daughter and the 5-year-old son. And actually, story time. No, never mind. Story time later is about a different movie. And they both enjoyed it very much. The daughter enjoyed it a lot more than my son did. And I was surprised at that. But it held his attention the majority of the film. I would say the flaw there is we got there, I mistimed it, and we got there too early. So we sat through the previews. Well, that's 25 minutes of holding a 5-year-old's attention. And that was on me. I was trying to skip the preview. Now that you can reserve your seats, there's no reason to ever get there to see the trailers. There really isn't. And it sucks, because that used to be one of my favorite things going to the movies, is seeing the trailers. But now that you see the trailers the second they come out on YouTube or whatever, or on Twitter, you don't need to be there. Seats are also reserved. You don't need to be there until literally 25 minutes after the showtime is set to begin. So I goofed that one up, especially with having the 5-year-old. Either way, his attention span did kind of wane towards the end, but your target audience of a brand new teenager and a young 5-year-old, it was there. They liked it. They enjoyed it. She enjoyed it more than I thought she would have. Afterwards, she was kind of talking highly about it. And he said he liked it a bunch. I just noticed that his attention span kind of waned towards the end. Hour and 40 minutes. Solid job. Definitely could trim 15 off it, but then you're talking, $1.25. Ooh, that's more, that's a little short for what they want to do here. This was a mix of Interstellar, meets Star Wars, if you will, meets an adventure tale. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. I know the ratings right now are not great, but I thought it was solid. I thought everything that they tried to do here was great. I thought all the wokeness of this movie, I missed it. It went over my head. The only part of the wokeness that people were upset about was when the two lesbians had a baby. Could you explain to me real quick how they got pregnant or show me some pics? I missed that section. Like, she was all of a sudden, she's getting married to a woman, then the next scene, she's preg. How? Unless maybe on this planet, I'm not sure. Anywho, so that was the only part. And even my daughter afterwards, she was like, Dad, how did they? I was like, sweetie, I don't know if this is a question we should be going to right now. I'm not sure this avenue is where we should be trying to question. Ironically, people fly into outer space onto a planet far away, can't get off the planet because they don't have enough fuel for the hyperdrive. And the thing that doesn't make sense to us is how two lesbians got pregnant, right? That's where we are in life. Anyway, I thought the interstellarness of, every time he leaves, time passes. He leaves, 4 years goes by at least, and then he comes back and he's not aging, but everyone around him is. And they've established a life while he is still set in trying to get off of here, not realizing that there was a brilliant life in front of him that he could have had this whole time with these people whom he actually loved. I thought that was a good story. It was a little underlying, you had to kind of read into it, and it didn't kind of wrap up until the end. And throughout the whole theming of it, it kind of moved a little quickly before then you could be like, you know what? The whole time it was right there. The whole time it was all right there for him. I thought two things that I didn't really enjoy. And I'm realizing as I'm talking here that I don't have as much of a review to give here, except that I enjoyed it. It was fine. Probably could just wait till Disney Plus. Didn't need to go see it, even though there are some scenes that on the big screen, they looked fantastic. Him floating through space, a couple of the rocket things through space, they looked great. My two negatives, and I know again we're dealing with time and time travel, and because he went at super speed, it took him 4 years, where versus it didn't with everybody else. I missed the part of how old him broke off. Like, how did old him now come back? I missed that. Was it because it kept happening and then old him decided to now come back to this point in time, and that's what broke it off differently? I think that's where it was, because at one point I was like, wait, how are there two hims? And that shouldn't have been the thing. B, to that, golden opportunity was here for older Buzz to be voiced by Tim Allen. I thought that would have been gold. If you let the older Buzz get voiced by now an old Tim Allen, he's old in real life, right? Like, why didn't you let that happen? That would have been gold, because you still have Evans, you still have that, but then you have the older version of him. Let Tim Allen voice him. To me, that would have been brilliant. To me, that would have been perfect. And that also would have spelled all of these, well, we don't hire Tim Allen anymore because of his political thought, blah, blah, blah. That was the biggest missed opportunity I felt that Disney had with this one, Pixar had with this one, was because if there was any nonsense with the politics, you could have easily just swept that out of the room. Like, nope, he's there. Here you go. And then it just would confuse the hell out of everybody, thinking like, well, how did he get that voice? He's the action figure voice and not this voice. Anyway, all right, wrapping Lightyear up. I enjoyed it. It was great. Rewatchability? Sure. When it's on Disney Plus? Sure. We'll throw it on. It'll be a good time. I'm sure the wife will probably want to watch it. My son, we have to ask him afterwards. He was like, did you like it? Yeah, I liked it. Want to watch it again? Nah, I'm good. But that's kind of a him thing. He does that often. Anywho, Lightyear, go see it. Actually, I take that back. Lightyear, wait till Disney Plus, then watch it at home, because I think it'll be more enjoyable in that way. All right. HBO Max has Barry Season 3. We've had to wait a little while to get the Season 3, thanks to COVID and shutdowns and what have yous, but we have Season 3 here of Barry, created by Alec Berg and Bill Hader. I will be speaking a little bit freely again, as I have with the last two, so if you need to fast forward, what have you. Bill Hader, starring him, Stephen Root, Sarah Goldberg, those are your main actors involved in this one, along with Anthony Carrigan and Henry Winkler. Excuse me. And D'Arcy Carden, they gave her a big bump in this one with her role as well. Season 3 of Barry, I thought was probably the best season that they've had overall. Not even joking. Season 1, fun. Loved it. A blast, right? Season 2, next level. It got even better. I was like, oh, are you serious? This thing even got better. I think 2 seconds ago I might have said 10 eps. It's only 8. If I said 10, I take that back. I'm not going to edit it, but either way, only 8 episodes. Either way. Season one was fun. It's like, holy crap, I love this premise. I love it, right? It's a hitman, doesn't really want to be a hitman anymore, wants to try something new, kind of falls in love with acting. He's like getting a new little weird niche out of nowhere. Let me try being an actor. This might be cool type thing. And then season 2, they just compound upon it. We've got new characters that we're following. Soho Hank is absolutely a fantastic character that's ever been created. Did I say Soho Hank? Man, I am off today. NoHo Hank. I think I said Soho Hank. NoHo Hank by Anthony Carrigan is a phenomenal character for television. He should rank high all time as just random ass characters in television. He's fantastic. And then now this finally we got back to season 3 and finally wrapped around it. And I thought it was really well done. I loved it. I will fast forward to the end. I think the finale episode, the last 2 episodes, 7 and 8, but especially the finale episode, was these actors looking at each other and saying, you're getting a big scene, you're getting a big scene, you're getting a big scene. And most of them are going to be solo. Like you're getting solo monologues, solo performances. And each one of them said, hold my beer. And the next one said, hold my beer. And the next one said, hold my scotch. And it was just like one after the next of just performance. I can't wait to see some nominations come out because I think they're all going to just be against each other. It was nuts. It was absolutely fantastic. If I could sing the praises of acting abilities in one episode of television, it is the finale episode of season 3 of Barry. It was fantastic. Every single one, Hader, Goldberg, Winkler, Kerrigan, each and every one of them just dropped performances. Stephen Root throws in just masterful across the entire thing. It was almost like they were like, we keep talking acting on this thing. Let's just drop some dominant acting abilities on these final couple of episodes. I loved it. I thought where they went with the characters was good. They gave some arc. There was a lot of turmoil, a lot of mental things, some PTSD things that they keep on going back to, but then they even went a little bit further with them. People are starting to figure things out. And then the way that it wrapped at the end, it was like, holy crap. Is Barry caught? Is he done? What are we doing here, Harry? I don't know. Hey, top to bottom, I thought it was really well done. Henry Winkler, man. I love that Henry Winkler has like a legitimate career outside of the Fonz. Growing up, I was like, oh, that guy played the Fonz. Oh, cool. Oh, that guy played the Fonz. Like, oh, he's in this Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, but he played the Fonz way back. Nah. There's a whole generation of people now that are just knowing Henry Winkler as an actor now. And he deserves it because he's fantastic. And if anybody ever talks to the guy in real life, you can tell that he was acting when he was playing the Fonz. I think a big famous story is that Henry Winkler has always said he doesn't know how to ride a motorcycle. To this day, he's never learned how to ride a motorcycle. Yet the Fonz and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I feel bad right now for even talking about the Fonz because Winkler, has now established himself after he died in Scream 1. Spoiler part 1. Spoiler alert. The Barry, not the name of the show. Barry, season 3 on the HBO Max. Check it out immediately. All 8 episodes of it. Absolutely loved it. I need to take a swig because I've been talking too much. I've been raving too much. I cried once during Star Wars. Taking a quick break. Here we go. Oh my God, remember when we used to take breaks? So, we used to take breaks on the show all the time, as you loyal listeners know. And then we got in trouble. We got in trouble for using music that we weren't allowed to use. Then they said, take down all of your episodes or else. And we were like, okay, we will. Because it was something that we used to do for fun. Former co-host Tony, it was kind of his idea to have little breaks. And it worked because we would break the show into 3 acts, if you will, and different segments. And in between there, just kind of like have a little breather and like throw some music in. A lot of times, the music pertained to what we were talking about. If some song played in Barry, they were like, oh, we'll throw that in there, musical break, and kind of just break. And we only played 15, 30 seconds of song tops. But either way, then we got in trouble. Then I tried to switch it over to like some free music, just some cheesy little music that you could get for free where you don't get in trouble for playing it. But it was just kind of to break things up. And eventually it just kind of went by the wayside. But hey, there's the story of why we used to take musical breaks. There you go. I didn't think we were going to get into that just yet. We were going to save that for episode 300, but hey, why not? Okay. Who wants a little story time, huh? Story time now? Casting now? What do you guys say? Now, we'll save the story time. Let's do casting. Let's get into some actual news. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show here. Episode 298. Thank you guys. 667-365-8253 if you'd like to leave a text message or a voicemail at Take Two Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and take2podcast@gmail.com. Got a brilliant email this week. Just from someone saying they don't want the show to go away, and very, very nice, glowing things. And my only thought was you could have 5-star rating and reviewed also. Anyway, no, I guys, any notes sent our way, they really do mean a lot. And I appreciate everyone. Only 3 more weeks left. You know, the phone number will be turned off, and I guess the email stay up. But anyone that wants to shoot a text or whatever, 667-365-8253. Casting couch. Lady in the Lake. This is the Apple TV limited series with Natalie Portman, Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita Nyong'o had to step away. We just found that out 2 weeks ago, where they have her replacement, Miss Moses Ingram. We just talked about her with Obi-Wan. She would be replacing Lupita Nyong'o in the Lady in the Lake series. Okay. Scream 6. Sadly, last week we talked about no Neve Campbell. That's a major bummer. That is disappointing. That she can't be in it. I am glad. I just want to, on a quick side, I am glad that she won't be in it to a degree. I mean, Sidney Prescott is Scream, yes. But if we're moving the story forward, at some point we have to get away from Sidney Prescott, right? So can we do that now? They're going to get away from Sidney Prescott without having to kill her. Maybe. Maybe there's a killer off screen. Oh, she died in a boating accident. Bummer. Anyway, my point is, now if we are moving forward, now they were just given a way to do it without having to kill her. She's just not in it. We'll reference her in some capacity, but she's just not in it. And they don't have to make the choice of killing her off, because if you kill off Sidney Prescott, how many fans are going to be angry? Lots, right? Lots. Anywho, Scream 6, they've cast Henry Czerny. He's, you guys know him. He's one of those guys. He's done a ton of things. He's recently in the Mission Impossible series. He's been in like the last 4 of them. You would know his face if you saw him. Either way, he's been cast in Scream 6. The Fatal Attraction series coming to Paramount Plus. You got Joshua Jackson, Lizzie Kaplan, Amanda Peet, all in this. They have added Brian Goodman, Alyssa Jarrells, and Toby Huss to that cast. Well done. TV show 30 Coins. It's on HBO. Season 2 is coming up soon. They have added Paul Giamatti. I have not seen this, but as I was reading up on Giamatti adding, apparently it's a great show. Folks love it. I might jump onto this. I don't know if I'll jump onto it in time to review in any capacity. But either way, 30 Coins. I've heard good things about it. It's on HBO. Season 2 will be adding a phenomenal actor. Big favorite of mine, Paul Giamatti. Spy Kids. This is this reboot, spin-off type thing here that Robert Rodriguez is directing and creating for Netflix. Either way, they have their parents. Their parents will be played by Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez. Okay, sounds good. Lovely couple there. Who's the lucky one in that couple? Both good-looking, both fun personalities. Yes. You guys ever play that game? You ever play that game with your spouse, where you're just like looking at other couples, and you're like, who's the lucky one there? Who's the fun one there? Who's, we do it all the time. Okay, while we people watch, it's a fun little thing to do. Anyway, Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songs and Snakes, right, has got their lead, Hunter Schafer. She's from Euphoria. This is kind of big because a lot of the Euphoria actors and actresses, you got Sydney Sweeney, she's absolutely blown up. Obviously, you have Zendaya, but some of the other ones, we haven't seen a lot of stuff coming out of that just yet. And it's good that this girl is getting this big role. The Hunter Games, it's got Rachel Ziegler, Tom Blythe have already been cast in this. Now you're adding Hunter into this, so good for her. All right, Sundance Kid Might Have Regrets is the name of this heist thriller. This is based on a short story about twins that are bank robbers, and we have Zoe Kravitz will be playing the lead there. Now, I was trying to find if Zoe is playing both twins, because that would be awesome. I didn't even see if twins are boy and girl, what have you, but either way, so Zoe Kravitz is playing the lead. This is a heist thriller, and it's through Warner Brothers, so I think Warner Brothers is like, hey, you just played a burglar in our last movie. Do you still have the outfit? Because we got this other burglar project, and if you don't mind doing a thing. Anyway, if they make any cat references in that movie, I'll be mad. Like, come on. But maybe don't. Anyway, East of Eden has cast Florence Pugh to be their lead. Zoe Kazan is producing and writing this, and if that means anything to anybody, her grandfather, Elia Kazan, directed the 1955 adaptation of this book to film starring James Dean. and now she's taking over the project and just writing and producing. I don't believe she's directing. But Florence Pugh, big fan here on the show of Florence Pugh, will be starring in East of Eden. That is it for the casting couch. On to the Hollywood news. Stranger Things Season 4 broke a butt ton of records recently with the Part 1, with all of their views, and they were going nuts, and people were going crazy. Oh my God, millions upon millions of views, and the hours logged to watch this, and the amount of hours watched. Well, the Squid Game folks said, hey, point of order. Yes, it broke all those records for amount of hours watched. And we want to say that every episode that just dropped of that Stranger Things was like an hour and a half long. So it was like a movie. So therefore, you're logging that many hours you had to, which is a little ridiculous. But B, at the time of that record breaking that Stranger Things went through, they were still 760 plus million hours shy of how many times people watch Squid Game. So that amount of hours were logged watching Squid Game. Stranger Things still has over 700 million hours left they need for watching. That's how big Squid Game was. Guess how many people I know that didn't watch Squid Game? One, myself. Like, everybody watched that show. Anyway, there is a Kevin Spacey documentary happening. Channel 4, that's a British production channel, is doing a Kevin Spacey doc all about the rise and fall of Kevin Spacey, I suppose. There weren't a lot of details on it. I'm wondering if they'll have a segment like when he was doing that HBO show that he used to do, and they're like, oh, season 2, episode 4, like maybe there could be an actor on the side that Kevin Spacey meets or something like that. I don't know, in case you guys are watching. Episode 5, I can't believe I said episode 4. Episode 5, around the 41-minute mark, something to that degree. That's where the 4 came from. Anyhow, Kevin Spacey doc could be intriguing. The Boys, speaking of 4s, The Boys got a season 4 and probably 5, but they got confirmed for season 4, which is groovy. The Boys will be one of our final reviews. It will be episode 300. I will be done with that, done watching it, fully caught up. If anybody's fully caught up, this week they dropped Hero-gasm, which a lot of people were excited for the Hero-gasm episode. I gotta be honest, the way they promoted the Hero-gasm episode, I was a little let down. Like, I mean, and it's very pushing the NC-17 rating. But I was kind of let down. I was like, oh, that's it. I guess I was expecting pornography, to be honest. The way they promoted it, I thought we were just going to watch porn. And like, that's the level that all the actors were promoted. All their Instagrams are them holding like dildos and all that kind of stuff. And what we got, I mean, yeah, lots of boobies, lots of ding dongs. We saw all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, that's it. All right. Anywho, hope my wife's not listening. Last thing in the news, I mean, lately all the news right now has been dominated, of course, by that decision by the Supreme Court with the pro-life, pro-choice stuff and all those protests that are happening and whatnot. And tons of celebs are coming out. Mostly the celebs on the left side of the ball, or the pro-choice, are coming out going nuts, talking about their opinions. And again, we're not going to get political here on the show. But that's where a lot of your celebrity. So if you're following tons of actors and actresses, fully expect to see a lot of their social medias just discussing this topic. I will say my only thought politically on this one is this is one topic that is a black or a white, or maybe that's not the right phrase, but there's no gray area with this one. And that's the bother with this topic. There needs to be a middle ground here, and there just doesn't seem to be one. But with all those celebs, Jodie Sweetin got pushed to the ground. She was tussling up with the LAPD during one of the protests, and she was getting loud. She's a very big activist. There's plenty of other things that she's out there and very outspoken, and good on her for being outspoken. Believe what you believe. And but she was getting a little physical with the cops, and they pushed her back. And I saw the video. And of course, I also saw the edited video that didn't show her pushing the cop first. Either way, so she tripped, she fell, and the headline was, Jodie Sweetin gets pushed down by cops or whatever. And it was crazy that as soon as she got pushed down, she fell to the ground, hopped right up, and she just said, "How rude!" I literally did that entire topic just for that joke. You're welcome. God, it's awful. Have you ever heard people unsubscribe? Ever? Because that just happened. All right, done with the Hollywood news. We're moving on. One person right now is laughing, and I love you for it. Thank you very much. And I know who you are, and I appreciate it. And you're going to text me, I'm laughing, and I'll know exactly what you mean. All right, all done. All right, do you guys want story time? Here's a crazy story time. Took the daughter to Top Gun Maverick, and we kind of had like a late night showing. It was like a 9 o'clock showing, and we're sitting, not a lot of people in the theater, maybe 8 total people, not the biggest theater, kind of a medium-sized one, and what have you. So we go to sit down, And of course, our seats are right next to two other people. You're like, you got to be kidding me. Whatever. So we go to sit in those two seats. Then there's a blank seat and then three more people on that side. Crazy, right? So watching the movie. Trailers, done. Movie, 20 minutes into the film. 20 full minutes into the film, two people show up. Where do they walk? They come right to our row and they go right to sit right next to my daughter where the empty seat was. Okay. So it's like, you've got to be like, who shows up? Now, I mean, this is now 20 minutes into the film. So you're a solid 45 minutes after the showtime. 45 minutes after the showtime is when you show up to get to this movie. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. They walk right there. They stand in front of us. Just stand, holding their phones up. These are our seats, this one and this one. Now, her seat and the blank seat is what they were complaining that their seat was. Hang on, we should be at these seats. This is the... So I was like, guys, why don't you just we can figure it out. So now the girl is pushing the guy, hey, let's go stand in the aisle. We'll stand in the aisle. We'll figure it out. So he's like, nah, these are our seats. And he's getting loud. She convinces him to scooch over to the aisle. Whatever. We've all been in these situations. Not that big of a to-do. So then they leave. We see them leave. They walk down. Well, now the manager comes running up. Like 5-6 minutes later. Manager comes in, not the people. Manager comes. Whose seats are these? Loud. This is the manager of a movie theater. Very loud, standing. So I was like, this is mine. Now, while they were going to get the manager, I double-checked my seats. The guy next to me was an older gentleman. He checked his seats. So then he's like, yeah, I got these. And I look it up and I go, you know what? Actually, buddy, I have your seat and my seat, 2 and 3. And he's like, huh. So he pulls up and he had 1 and 2. So the computer glitched and gave he and I the same seat. That was the problem. He and I both had seat 2. My daughter should have been in seat 3. But when her and I got there, I just saw them in the 1 and 2, and I was like, oh, we'll just sit in 3 and 4. Didn't even think about it. Honestly, didn't even think about it. So now these people had seats 4 and 5. That was the issue. Lady comes back. She's flipping out. So then she's like, who's in these? So I said, ma'am, we got double booked in the seat. But now they're moved over. Now there's an empty. So I tell you what. There's an empty seat right in the row behind me. I'll just go right there. And she was like, no, you shouldn't be in these seats. So I was like, ma'am, the movie's happening. And she's now standing in front of my daughter, can't see the thing, and she's being very loud. Here's the story time. Manager of a movie theater. She's getting louder. But these aren't your seats. You shouldn't be in there. I can't just let you sit in any old seat. I said, okay, well, I paid for a seat. It's not that big of a deal. Just forget it. Just forget it. I said, okay, well, so should we stay here? No, I'm going to go talk to the other people and see what they want to do because they're the ones that actually bought seats. So did everybody else in the theater. Either way, I said, okay, well, you're being very loud, and it's a movie. Do you mind? And now, as she leaves, as this woman leaves, she's like, I'm the manager of this movie theater. If I want to talk loudly, I can. So she now gets booed. Booed. There are people up in the back. Boo her as she walks out of the place. My daughter's like, what is happening here, Harry? I was like, we were never coming. Oh, that was the other part of this. This is a theater we normally don't go to. And we went to for the showtime, obviously. I wanted to go to it for that specific showtime. And I was like, we're not coming back here ever again. This is nuts. So I get up. I let a couple minutes go by, and I was like, all right, Peacekeeper in me needs to figure this out. So I walk out of the thing because now I'm worried that she's going to come back and interrupt the film again. Now, I've seen Top Gun, so I was like, I can miss a minute or two. I've seen it, although I hated that. My daughter, everyone else in the theater had not seen it yet. Let me walk out and see what's going on. So she's out there with the other two people just jawing. She's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why they did that. So I walked right up to her. I was like, ma'am, I think I figured out what happened. Can I fix this somehow? Can I just sit in another seat? Everyone in your theater paid their money. She's like, nope, forget it. I told them they can go to the 10:30 showing, which at this point is 10:30. It's like, it's that late. That's how late it is. And they're like, yeah, we're okay. Now the couple at this point, they're just like, we just want to get away from this woman. But she's going nuts. So then another worker comes by. I was like, hey, can I ask what's her name? He tells me the lady's name. I was like, whatever. It doesn't matter. I walked over. I actually at that point needed to get a tray for popcorn so my daughter and I could split it. So I got the tray. So then now she comes back to me. She's like, well, I kicked him out for you, so you can now go sit in your seat. Okay, I'll go sit in my seat. So the good news is, folks, theaters are back open. We're back, baby. We're going back to theaters. We can sit in our seats and we can deal with issues like this. You would think these issues would be going away, but with the reserved seating scenario. But ironically, the computer glitch is what screwed us over. If the computer didn't glitch, this wouldn't have been a thing. Either way, moral of the story, folks, show up on time to the movie. I couldn't believe they were 20 plus minutes late to the movie. That was the crazy part to me. Like, these folks showed up 20 plus. Like, even my daughter's like, they missed the whole, like, that whole awesome opening to Top Gun. Like, what did they expect to happen at that point? All right, terrible story time. Just wanted to share. On to DC discussion. This show's running long here. Running a little long. Just noticed. DC discussion. Just got a couple of quick notes. Good news is, guys, we are wrapping up. Mr. Gunn has been asked, will you be using Harley Quinn going forward, like doing a Harley Quinn solo movie? Do you want to do just something with just Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn? And he did not dispel any rumors. He was like, that sounds like a fun idea. Maybe down the road. Now, the poor guy is trying to wrap up Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's in the Marvel-verse. Like, you're not talking to me about DC right now, whatever. I'm sure he's got things in the works. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I'm sure DC knows exactly what they've got planned. That was a dumb sentence. They did ask, poor guy, same thing, right? Christian Bale is on the premiere for Thor Love and Thunder. And some guy goes right up to him and goes, hey, we know that you're excited to pass the torch of Batman on to Pattinson. What did you think of his performance? And Bale cuts him off and he goes, I haven't seen the movie. And he was nice about it. But he was like, I haven't even seen it. And the guy's like, what? You didn't see the Batman yet? He was like, buddy, I'm sorry, man. I've been working and just have not had time. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest movie goer as a lot of my coworkers are. But I've just been working hard and really devoted to this film and this film that I'm here to promote. When I see it, I will send Robert my thoughts on the side, and I hope that he just dominates the character of Batman. So now, other people followed up with can you believe that dude asked you about Batman while you're at a Thor premiere and you're trying to promote another movie? And he was like, it's nature of the beast. And Bale wrote it off nicely. But then they're like, so would you ever want to do Batman again? And Bale came straight out and said, he was like, I'm not done. He said, if there is a story and Christopher Nolan was involved, okay, you can talk to me about playing the role again. So does that mean he'll be in The Flash next year? Maybe he'll take over as the Flash since nobody wants Ezra Miller to do it anymore. Anyhow, just thought that was interesting. And some of the reporters, I know you got to do your job. I know you're trying to ask your questions, but seriously, you're asking Christian Bale if he saw the Batman while he's on the red carpet for Thor: Love and Thunder. Speaking of Thor, he's in Marvel. Let's go into the Marvel Minute. Kristen Ritter has said that she is in talks to do Jessica Jones and move that on over to Disney Plus. Bring it on over. That's cool. I think we'd all like to see another season. I think the second season, not so great. So maybe she can come back and they can do a better season. It looks like Disney Plus is trying to get all of those Netflix characters, give them new seasons, rock on. Let's do it. Except for Iron Fist. Brett Goldstein is rumored to be in Thor as Hercules. He's definitely hairy enough. But muscular enough? I don't know. We shall see. Going from Ted Lasso to Thor, I don't know. When I see Brett Goldstein, I don't think Hercules. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm biased because Kevin Sorbo has been on the show. Anywho, the Russo brothers were asked, tongue-in-cheek, who they like for Wolverine, and they said Chris Evans. They think Chris Evans would make a phenomenal Wolverine going forward. I think they were just being silly bugs. Anyway, speaking of Wolverine, Chris Hemsworth was asked about how long he wants to play Thor, and someone told him, they're like, you only need to play Thor for 6 more years, and you will break Hugh Jackman's record of playing Wolverine for longevity, playing the same character. He and Patrick Stewart are tied with how long they've played characters in the universe, in the comic universe. And he was like, 6 more years? That's it? Maybe I'll stick around. Maybe we can keep going. So, spoiler alert, Thor doesn't die in this movie. Thanks. That's it for DC. That's it for Marvel. That's it for episode 298. Let's go forward. Going forward. In theaters this weekend is Minions. I'm not sure. My son wants to see it. He's asked me like multiple times, can we go see Minions? I'm like, when are you watching Minions trailers? When do you see these things? Whenever he's on his iPad, probably. Either way, he wants to go see it. We shall see. I'll see if I get to the theaters to see that. But I know one thing I will be watching, and that is the Stranger Things Stranger Things Season 4 Part 2. Wrapping things up. Only a couple of episodes, but each one is 17 hours long, so hopefully I'll be able to wrap this up, and that will be in review for episode 299. Also, another show that is out now on the Netflix is Peaky Blinders Season 6. I am halfway done. I am loving it so far. Listen, guys, I know Peaky Blinders isn't for everybody. It's just not. It's a guy show, but it's just, you can just, I've spoken with some people who absolutely hate it. I've spoken with other people that love it. And I just know it's that type of show that's just not for everybody. I am the everybody. I absolutely love Peaky Blinders. Some seasons have been better than others. This season has been absolutely fantastic so far. I will be done episode 299. That will be a review. Also, I have lined up in the queue, if you will, Hustle, Adam Sandler movie, Spiderhead, Chris Hemsworth, and Miles Teller movie. I would like to try and knock both of those out. Loyal listener Chris, highly recommend. Like the words favorite movie all time were kind of thrown around for Spiderhead, if you will. So when people speak that highly of a film, it kind of like makes me want to go see it. Either way, this week, Superman and Lois, that wraps up. Not sure if I will finish that in time for $2.99, but that will be, if you guys want to hustle up and finish that up too, episode 300, we'll probably have the Superman and Lois season 2. We'll be wrapping that up as well. Box office predictions, Minions. It's not going to top Top Gun. I see Top Gun winning it again. I don't know if Elvis is going to beat it out. I can't see I don't know, though. Those Minions movies do make money. Even though the last one was not great. So you're telling me if Top Gun made $30 million this week, let's go nuts and say it makes $22 million. 4th of July weekend. Let's say it makes $22 million. Can Minions beat that? By darn it can. All right, I got Minions in at $32 million. I got Top Gun at 22, and I got Elvis at 21. And everything else can just love me tender. And that was bad. Come on. There's so many other good Elvis songs that could have gone there. I will wait till I see Elvis for any of the puns. All right, so that's going to wrap us up. Box office prediction. I think Minions is going to win the weekend. There it is. I said it. Put it on tape. Over an hour. Woohoo! Thank you guys for listening to episode 298. I do appreciate all of you Take Two podcast listeners. And even though the show is wrapping, I would absolutely adore a 5-star rating review. Just on the way out. 5-star rating review would be fantastic if you guys don't mind just taking a minute, 1 whole minute of your lifetime to throw a 5-star rating review for the show. Overall, for myself, any of that would be great. Episode 298. My name is Brian. Have a great night, everybody.